Hey everybody, it's Robot here from Vespa Motorsport, scooterwest.com here in San Diego, California. For all things Vespa, check us out on the web, scooterwest.com. What do I got here right below? Oh, it's my own Vespa that I started work on over 2 years ago. If anybody's followed my YouTube channel and looked up Robot's custom Vespa, I have 3 parts that I published over 2 years ago on this scooter. Pretty much it was a wrecked brand new Sprint 150, got a new frame for it, painted orange, but you could see it's come quite a long ways since the last it was shown. Nearly 2 years ago, I think it was January 27th, 2017 was the last video I posted, part 3. So I got the scooter back from Manny Cencinero. He's a pinstriper here in San Diego. He mostly specializes in doing custom pinstriping and artwork on Harley Davidson custom style motorcycles and lowrider cars. He does really cool work. He likes, 8-bit kind of graphics, all that like stuff that was, from the 80s video game culture, from the 80s, robots, all that stuff. So he really wanted to take on the project. Originally I was gonna have Bo do the graphics on it, and was talking with Manny for, I don't know, over a year. Talked about the graphics. Finally got him the frame, and he went to town on it. I just said, do whatever. I just said, just surprise me. I want robots on it, and I want circuitry on it. So that's what he's delivered. So check it out. Both cowls have artwork on it, same with the front leg shield, along with the front fender. And it's pretty cool. And just to give you a hint, if you watch part 3, pretty much we primed, prepped the frame, we shot the orange base coat, put one clear coat on it, then we sanded the clear coat, not all the way down, but to level it out. Manny came back, he did all the graphics on it, and then we put 3 more clear coats on top of it. So far it hasn't been cut and buff, which pretty much means you would sand the whole entire thing smooth again. That's the clear coat. Since there's several layers of clear coat, it looks great right now, but to make the thing look like glass with no orange peel in it, you sand the clear coat down where it's perfectly flat. You don't feel any of the pinstriping lines, because all the pinstriping work is all hand done. None of it's custom graphics. It was all hand done onto the paint surface. And I'll get that done, but I want to have the scooter assembled because it's pretty hard to cut and buff or color sand the scooter when the frame's flopping around. You need to bolt the frame down because you're hitting it with a heavy buffer and sanders to take a layer to clear coat down. So here's the fender. And of course I'm going to put it on the custom fork that I did. It's got the oversized Brembo caliper, a lot of other trick parts from Malosi's, Zalone. Still has the ABS system that's found on the Sprint. It's got the stock Sprint wheel that powder coated like a graphite gray, which is along with many of the other accents, a couple of gold parts in there as well. Built that over 2 years ago, get that fender on it. So you can see on the left side of the handlebars, there's a lot of grinding and like custom welding that I did. Well, I modified the stock Sprint handlebars to accommodate master cylinder for the rear disc brake. They never had a rear disc brake. I retrofitted all the parts from the Vespa 946. That's a 150 motor that has the rear disc brake. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up. Got the custom levers. They're from a GTS because now it's going to have brakes, disc brakes front and rear. So same lever style. And then I found these pretty cool Pro Taper grips. Like a long time off-road dude, so kind of recognize this brand for dirt bike grips. I thought they were pretty cool. They got gray, orange, and black, all the colors in my scooter, so I'll put those on. So the motor was built several years ago, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, right when I first got the project. It's got the 183cc Malosi cylinder kit, got a bunch of transmission goodies in there. I did some custom work to the belt cover. It's got the Malosi rear shock, along with that whole disc brake setup that I custom powder coated a lot of stuff. I think I covered that in, I don't know, part 1, 2, a little bit in 3. But pretty much it's just rebuilt the whole motor, even though it only had 2,500 miles. I know the motor's a little dusty. It's been sitting on the shelf for over 2 years. Kind of embarrassed about that. But picked out a muffler. This is the MHR Melosi muffler. There's no markings on it. It's just a carbon fiber shell. It comes with a complete header. Pretty rare pipe. They don't really sell too many of these. There's the standard Melosi pipe we've already sold, and the high quality Akrapovic. That's always the pipe I recommended. But I want to do something a little different. Pretty blank looking. Should look pretty good. Kind of tucked under there, you know, with the robot kind of colors, the carbon fiber. Don't have a bunch of other carbon fiber on this bike, but this will be the one token piece that I'll have on the scooter. So 2 days ago, I did a bunch of the mundane stuff, which was swapping all the little teeny hardware bits, clamps, cable clamps, little clips everywhere, all the mundane stuff. I didn't shoot individual videos of it, but you could check out the time-lapse video at the end of this video of me swapping all that fun bits off the original frame that was pretty heavily damaged. So what does Robot like to do when he works here really late on his own stuff? Of course, it's electrical stuff. Wiring. So I spent several hours here on the bench with the multimeter, the soldering iron, heat shrink, custom crimps, and had the whole entire wiring harness out of the scooter to do some custom work to the wiring harness for some extra special lights. It's all custom work. It isn't stuff that we sell off the shelf, but I just want to share it with you guys. Pretty cool stuff. So I pretty much removed the complete wiring harness from a stock Sprint 150 and did a lot of custom work to it. You know, the speedometer, I did that quite a long time ago. I have the custom switch gears that have only push buttons on them and no slide switches. All those little buttons are real high quality spun stainless steel buttons that have LED lights that are orange, of course. Got the LED headlight that we just started selling. Excellent product. I'm pretty excited to put it on my project. You can see this controller right here. This was all handmade. Well, not handmade, but built from parts that you could buy. There's a SDC Pentastar turn signal controller. That's a popular item to put in a custom Harley Davidson motorcycle where you have push button turn signals and running lights in all four corners. We sell the Signal Minder, which is a nice, easy plug and play solution to put into a stock scooter. Nice and easy, get the running lights in all four corners. This has the same functionality, self-canceling, hazard lights and all that stuff. There's some little teeny timer modules that are also integrated in there that are fully programmable timers, and I've used those to switch to high beam, low beam for the, have a button that flicks between the high and low, and also for timeouts for the running lights. Stuff that isn't found on the stock scooter. Spent a lot of time messing around with it, and then I used all factory connectors. I mostly salvaged out of old wiring harnesses, and also we happen to sell or have a lot of those connectors for these Vespa harnesses on hand because we make a lot of our custom electrical parts. Have it all mocked up, test it all out, and I'm in the process of wrapping the harness back up and putting the insulation back on the individual wiring. But I just want to show you all the functionality of what it does before I put it back into the scooter. Very important to test all your stuff. You don't want to put this harness into the scooter. It's like the first thing that goes in the scooter before you assemble a scooter and find out there's problems with it. Same with if you're assembling an old scooter, the harness is kind of like the backbone to the scooter, electrical wise. You want to make sure there's no problems with it. So I got my test battery obviously hooked to the same spot you'd normally hook the battery up to, and it's alive. So you see the fuel gauge is blinking right now. There's no fuel in, fuel sender set to it, but you can see the switch gear all lights up. And then over here is the pair of running lights. You can see the white LEDs kind of shine a little bit amber through the lenses. And if you push the turn signals, they're just a single button and they self-cancel. It turns the running lights off and runs the turn signals for a set amount of time, or if you're holding the brakes, and then the running lights come back on. So on the switch gear, I've also wired resistors to the LEDs, so they're different levels. They blink with the turn signals. So, if you turn the turn signals off, if I turn that turn signal on, you can see it blinks with the side that's turning on or off. Got the mode button, which switches the speedometer, and then I got high beam and low beam with a single push button, and it toggles between the two. Pretty simple, all done with these little basic timers that are fully programmable. And onto the rear, pretty much modified to be kind of Euro spec, but with an American twist. I have the red lenses, which you can use in the United States. In most other parts of the world, you need to have amber turn signals, but I kind of like the red. It really goes good with the orange. And you got the turn signals. You see the running light turns off on the one side when you do the turn signals. And then one other feature in addition to that is when you hit the brake light, those turn signals also go a little bit brighter for extra brake light functionality. And that's all done with these custom programmable modules. Pretty neat stuff. I thought about doing all that stuff myself with the Arduino. A lot of work. I didn't have time for that. I played with all that nerdy stuff in the past. I love it, but just don't have the time these days. So I bought off-the-shelf modules to do that. So I'm going to get back with it. I'm going to get the wiring harness into the frame. Going to get the fork all assembled, fork bearings, put the fork in, and kind of dry fit the hydraulic control components for the brakes. Get the motor in there so the scooter wheels around, and then I'll come up with part 5 of the video. Finally got around to part 4. Sorry it took me so long if you were following our channel for all these years. 2 years to be exact. But check out the next one. Till next time, Robot here, Vespa Motorsport, scooterwest.com. Follow me on Instagram, Robot Vespa. I'll post some photos of the continued build of the scooter. Follow our shop on Instagram, Vespa Motorsport. Follow us on Facebook. Till next time, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well if you haven't.